What happens when you discover your own son has been lying to your face for 3 years while spending your retirement money on luxury vacations and gambling debts? When 68-year-old Robert Miller uncovered the truth, his response was so devastating that his son's entire world came crashing down. My name is Robert Miller, and I'm about to tell you how I learned that sometimes the people closest to you betray you the deepest. At 68 years old, I thought I'd seen everything. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, my son Michael called with a simple request. Dad, Jennifer and I really need a break. Would you watch Tommy and Emma for a week while we go to the Bahamas? Michael and Jennifer had 2 kids, Tommy, 8, and Emma, 5. Beautiful children who I adored. Michael lived 2 hours away in Sacramento, and our visits were usually limited to holidays. Of course, I told him without hesitation. I'd been living alone in Fresno for 5 years, since my wife Carol passed from cancer. The retirement I'd planned for us both had become a solitary existence. The chance to spend a week with my grandchildren felt like a gift. For 3 years, I'd been helping Michael financially. It started small, a few hundred here and there. Emergency dental work for Jennifer, $3,000. A new transmission, $4,500. Tommy's medical bills, $2,800. Emma's preschool tuition, $8,000. Each time, Michael would call with genuine distress, explaining the crisis and promising to pay me back. Each time, I'd transfer money from my retirement account without question. Over 3 years, those transfers totaled $73,000, nearly a quarter of my retirement savings. The drive to Sacramento was pleasant. When I arrived, Michael and Jennifer were rushing around, packing for vacation. They seemed genuinely excited about their first real vacation in years. The kitchen counter was covered with mail. One envelope caught my attention, from Belize Bank International, addressed to Michael Miller. Why would my son receive mail from an offshore bank? That evening, I looked through the recycling bin where Michael had thrown the opened envelope. Inside was a bank statement showing an account balance of $67,000. I stared at the paper, trying to make sense of it. This was more money than Michael claimed to make yearly. The statement showed regular deposits ranging from $5,000 to $15,000. Several deposits corresponded exactly with times I'd sent Michael money for supposed emergencies. Then I found credit card statements hidden in Michael's office. The purchases made my blood run cold. $3,500 at Tiffany & Co., the same week I'd sent money for Jennifer's dental work. $2,800 at a luxury restaurant, charged the day after I'd covered Tommy's medical bills. $6,200 at a Napa Valley resort, 2 weeks after the transmission repair. But the worst discovery was a statement from Golden State Casino showing gambling losses of $23,000 over the past year, with current debt of $15,000. Michael had a gambling problem. He'd been using my retirement money to fund both his addiction and luxury lifestyle while pretending to be broke. I sat in his office chair, surrounded by evidence of his deception, and felt something break inside me. This wasn't just about money. This was about trust, about the relationship I'd thought we had. I thought about Carol, how we'd saved every penny for our golden years. She died before we could enjoy most of what we'd worked for. And now our son was gambling it away while pretending to struggle. My phone buzzed with a text from Michael. "Hope everything's going well. Jennifer and I are having an amazing time. The resort is incredible." The resort is incredible. Paid for with money he'd stolen from me. Instead of calling him immediately, I took pictures of everything. Every bank statement, every credit card bill, every piece of evidence. Then I called my nephew David, a successful attorney in Los Angeles. I told him everything: the 3 years of financial help, the offshore account, the gambling debts, the luxury purchases. David listened without interrupting. "Uncle Robert," he said when I finished, "this isn't just betrayal. This is elder financial abuse. In California, that's a felony." David's plan was devastating. We would file a civil lawsuit for elder financial abuse, report the offshore account to the IRS, notify his employer about criminal charges, and time everything while Michael was still in the Bahamas. He wanted an expensive vacation, David said grimly. Let's make sure he gets his money's worth. Friday morning, while the kids were at school, David arrived with legal documents. The civil lawsuit was filed at 2 p.m., the IRS report at 3:30 p.m., his employer was notified at 4 p.m., the bank froze the offshore account at 4:30 p.m. By 5 p.m., Michael's life was over, and he didn't know it yet. At 8:47 p.m., Michael's phone started ringing. Mine started ringing too. Missed call after missed call, then frantic text messages. Dad, call me immediately. Something's wrong with my accounts. Dad, my boss called. They said I'm suspended pending criminal charges. What's happening? I didn't respond. At 11:23 p.m., my phone rang. Hello, son? Dad, what the hell is going on? Everything's falling apart. The bank, my job, Jennifer's crying. I imagine it's been a difficult evening for you. Dad, this is a nightmare. Someone's made a mistake. No mistake, Michael. Everything happening is exactly what you deserve. What are you talking about? The offshore account, the gambling debts, 3 years of lies while you stole my retirement money. I know everything. Silence. Then, Dad, I can explain. No need. David's filed all the paperwork. Civil lawsuit for elder financial abuse. Criminal referral. IRS investigation. Your employer's been notified. I could hear Michael breathing heavily. Dad, please, we can work this out. I'll pay you back. With what money? Your accounts are frozen. Your job is gone. You still owe the casino $15,000. Think about Tommy and Emma. This will destroy their future. You should have thought about your children before stealing from their grandfather. I was going to pay you back. The gambling got out of control, but I was getting help. 3 years, Michael. $73,000. You looked me in the eye and lied repeatedly. I'm sorry. Please, Dad, don't destroy my family over this. I'm not destroying your family. You already did that. I hung up. 6 months later, I was signing settlement documents that returned $68,000 of my stolen money. Michael had pled guilty to elder financial abuse in exchange for probation and restitution. His career was over, but he'd avoided prison. Jennifer had filed for divorce 3 weeks after returning from the Bahamas. She'd been as much a victim of Michael's deception as I had been. Tommy and Emma were living with Jennifer. I visited them every other weekend. Michael was working at a warehouse for a fraction of his former salary. The expensive lifestyle was gone, replaced by the financial struggle he'd been pretending to experience. The house in Sacramento had been sold to help pay his debts. The Rolex, the luxury purchases, all liquidated to make restitution. Michael learned the hard way that actions have consequences, that theft is theft regardless of family relationships. Sometimes the hardest lesson is that love doesn't excuse betrayal. Michael had gambled away more than money. He'd gambled away our relationship, his children's future, and his integrity. The fact that he was my son made the betrayal worse, not better. But sitting in David's office, with most of my money returned and justice served, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Peace. Not happiness exactly, but the quiet satisfaction that comes from standing up for yourself when it matters most. Have you ever discovered that someone you trusted completely was lying to your face for years? What would you do if your own child was stealing from you while pretending to struggle? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hidden Hearth for more stories about family betrayal, hidden deception, and the moment when patience finally runs out.